Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of Roundabout Sports presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media and Harsh Construction, LLC. I'm the maestro, Jeremy Karp. It is episode 148. It is October 15th. We are in the middle of the month. We're just a couple weeks away from our favorite holiday. Well, one of my favorites, Halloween. We got a lot to talk about this evening. There is definitely a lot of things we got to cover this week, but to get, of course, the standard ones out of the way, be sure to check out Roundabout Sports on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, and anywhere else, that you may stream your shows at. Also, give me 1 second with that. Okay, perfect. So, on top of all that, folks, be sure to follow us on Facebook, on X, and on the Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel. With all of that said, we're going to kind of get into things right away. So, a lot of Cardinal fans were taken aback by a couple days ago, former Cardinal manager Mike Shildt, who was just more recently the manager of the San Diego Padres, announced his retirement. And the interesting thing is a lot of more details had come out in regards to why Mike Shildt left San Diego, why he left the Padres and retired, which precedes into why he ended up leaving or being fired, let go from the Cardinals. And it just puts so many different things into perspective here as to what is going on. And I want to delve a little bit into this. And it's been something that's been reported a lot over the past few days, or at least the past couple days. But I think one perfect example here is the fact that there was a lot of dissension within the Cardinals locker room when he was with St. Louis. And according to the report from John Heyman of the New York Post, one of the coaches had gained a reputation as a very blunt and temperamental person in St. Louis, which was interesting because, once again, after an excellent season, he still ends up getting fired. So it does raise the question on a lot of things, as far as, the reasonings for his firing and whatnot. Nevertheless, so the Cardinals only have ever said publicly he was fired for, quote, philosophical differences with the front office and the rest of the team. Now, a lot of people, myself included, have said a lot of it's because he was never one to be afraid to push back. Obviously, that being against the DeWitts and or John Mozeliak. And of course, they wanted to bring in somebody who probably wouldn't push back as much. Hence, here it comes, Ollie. Fair enough. So here we go. Point being, it's interesting because, quote, this is also from Kevin Ace of the San Diego Union Tribune. This was more intimate details regarding everything. So, some Cardinal coaches and others within the organization had actually threatened to quit if Mike Shildt remained the manager of the Cardinals in 2021. And a half dozen sources, including current and former members of the Cardinals organization and two people who were part of front offices that considered interviewing him, had made those statements. So, yeah. we take a look at kind of where that is. And the reason was, this is interesting. The reason for criticism was the record-setting winning streak the Cardinals went on to reach the postseason that year. But it was never made public what happened behind the scenes. And I understand them not wanting to, because obviously it would make the Cardinals organization as a whole look bad. It's easier to just say, hey, we got philosophical differences over, hey, we got guys who are threatening to quit if he doesn't get fired. So if all this is the case, suddenly John Mozeliak's decision to fire a former manager of the year will be looked at in a much more positive light by the fans and media members as time goes on. At least just that's how I look at the whole thing in this retrospect. So with that said, I wanted to kind of move into our next topic, and I want to thank one of my best friends, published author and co-host this evening, Andrew Henson, for joining me. Andrew, I wanted to bring this up because we were talking about coaches getting fired and everything. Well, in the NFL, it was Brian Callahan just got fired by the Tennessee Titans in his first year as a coach after a 1-5 start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've said before, and later on you'll see who I think is the worst team in the NFL, but I do think on paper the Tennessee Titans might be the worst because they're a complete rebuild. Like, they are starting from scratch here. You can't, it's almost like expansion team stuff here.
At this point, you might as well trade Calvin Ridley and go full rebuild.
Exactly. Like, the only two really experienced players are Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard on the offense. Cam Ward can only do so much behind an inexperienced offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And while he is throwing the ball a lot, it's not very accurate. And honestly, let's face it, they're just a DeMarcado fumble away from being 0-6 as well. That, and I think that's more glaring. So here's my first question to you. Do you even think that Brian Callahan should have been fired?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so. I thought it was too soon.
I was like, dang. Tell us you just wanted to scapegoat without telling us you wanted to scapegoat.
Exactly. That it really blew my mind on everything that just like that he was let go by the organization. Because I think of a lot of other teams that are on the hot seat, that have coaches that are on the hot seat. And that's what I wanted to go through with you, because there are quite a few coaches that are on the hot seat. And
making moves.
Ooh, and we'll have to definitely talk about that later on the show. I always love doing live news while we're doing the show. So thank you for everybody that is tuning in live. So the first thing is we take a look at Kevin Stefanski. Now, head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I'm saying this as bluntly as possible. The national media, if the Cleveland Browns fire Kevin Stefanski, the national media is going to go out there and say the Cleveland Browns just fired their two-time coach of the year who led them to the playoffs for the first time in like 15 years. That's how they're going to spin it. But the reality is Kevin Stefanski is I think he has only won 4 games in his last 24 games. And Cleveland has yet to score 13 or 20 points offensively since week 13 of last season. So, and this is another thing I want to say. Coach of the year does not always equal a success in the sense of long term.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a lot of the guys in the past who have won Coach of the Year awards. Dan Quinn, Ron Rivera, Mike Vrabel, all at some point have gotten fired and in some cases have been rehired, but they all end up getting fired after winning the award.
Facts.
Now, Stefanski's in the rare company of being a 2-time winner of it, and that's great and everything. But my issue is, I think a lot of this, unfortunately, is going to be put on him. But Jimmy Haslam, at the end of the day, has no one to blame but himself, because he is the one that put Andrew Berry, the GM, and Kevin Stefanski in the position to say, hey, Baker's shoulder, yes, is hurting. Yes, he's injured. But you know what? He might not be the guy. So let's just call a full audible. Let's go out and get a rusty Deshaun Watson. And you know, I can forgive the money because a lot of it was his money. I can forgive that. I can't forgive the picks, the draft picks that they gave up. Everyone's mad about Andrew Berry's draft classes. Yeah. Andrew Berry's draft classes, they're like, oh, he hasn't nailed them up until this year because he barely had anything to work with up until this year. Mm-hmm. This was his first round pick in 3 years that he was able to have because they gave everything up for Watson. And you know what? If Watson did great, first off, no matter how good he did, it was a PR nightmare. So that was already bad. He could have led him to the Super Bowl and people would have been pissed. But not only did he not play good, but he was frequently injured, and he still can't chase. The bad PR is still there. It's going to be with him probably till the day he dies.
More likely.
So, and his career is pretty much done. But Jimmy Haslam has to, and finally it was admitted by Jimmy Haslam, like we tried, we thought he'd be the guy, we took a swing and a miss. And I appreciate that he says that, but the thing of it is, we can't blame Kevin Stefanski for that. I can blame him, though, for a lot of his poor conservative play calling, his lack of urgency, and overall questionable roster moves. Now, this week they play the Miami Dolphins, coached by another guy I think is on the hot seat, Mike McDaniel. And I'm going to tell you right now, Andrew, whichever team loses that game, I don't think that coach is going to make it through the season.
That's bold.
I don't think that maybe Stefanski, because here's the thing, the expectations were still low. This is the problem with Cleveland. The expectations were still low. Guess what? Yes, you have a top-ranked defense, but you still entered the season with Joe Flacco as your quarterback, and now you're going with Dylan Gabriel.
You'll have Shedeur start by the end of the year.
At this rate, you will. You really will. But then you've got the Miami Dolphins.
Like I said.
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins, the hype has been real for years. And it has been disappointment among disappointment. Tua's injuries, now Tyreek's injury, which isn't just a season ender, it could be a career ender. He ain't going to be the same.
He might miss it next year.
Yeah. And they have arguably one of the top 3 or bottom 3. I was going to say top worst defenses, but they do have one of the worst defenses in all the NFL. Mm-hmm. And they just are making no progress. The Patriots have made more progress in 3 years than the Dolphins have in 5. And the Dolphins have kept a lot of the core players together. That is where the problem comes in. You have the same coach for a longer period of time, but you're not making any true progress. And you're one, and once again, another team, 1-5. Both the Browns and the Dolphins each only have 1 win. And so I take a look at where both of them are at. I don't think McDaniel makes it through the year if they don't. Yeah, and yes, they've lost some close games. They lost only by 2 to the Chargers. They lost, I think, only by 10 to the Bills. But they barely beat the Jets, and we'll get to them later. Because they're part of this as well. This isn't even a part of the favorite segment. This is legitimately part of the whole thing. I don't think Mike McDaniel, if they lose this week, I don't think McDaniel makes it through the season, or at least till next season.
Probably not.
Now, here's a hot one for you.
I got one too, but you go first.
All right, you know what? No, you go first. I want to hear yours.
If they continue to let Matt LaFleur do the offensive play callings, I don't think he makes it to next year.
Even with how good they're doing?
How good who's doing? Just because we're winning don't mean we look good.
I mean,
listen, a great quarterback can make you look good.
That is true.
When you have good quarterback play, you can look good. But
it's not just a good quarterback. It's not Jordan Love that's the only thing making the
what
Packers.
I mean.
But yes, I get it. I do.
Josh Jacobs has been playing well. Let me explain something to you. If we didn't have Tucker Kraft to dump the ball off to whenever it looks like it's a jam, I think Matt LaFleur, and then now it's hard because we've had success, but now you got, even today, it's either today or yesterday, Dontavian Wicks retweeted something or reposted something about Matt LaFleur suggesting Matt LaFleur stop doing offensive play calls. So it's a big struggle. So
clubhouse dissension. Clubhouse dissension at its finest.
There it is. Because Dontavian Wicks, everyone said he's going to make a huge leap this year. Contract year. He's the next Devontae Adams. Well, now we got.
Well, right now, Dontavian Wicks has 12 catches for 129 yards this year and no touchdowns.
You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
So there's that leap. I mean, obviously, Jaden Reed's injury is a part of what I'm about to say. But right now, Romeo Doubs is the big one because he's got 18 catches, 234 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Look up Tucker Kraft.
And then you get to Tucker Kraft. And he's over here with 18 catches, 268 yards, and 3 touchdowns, which is for a tight end. The thing of it is, Green Bay just has so many weapons to spread the ball around to. And another one on top of Matt LaFleur, you talk about a team that keeps winning, but their coach is on the hot seat. Here's a team that up until this year has done nothing but win. But I think it's finally time after all these years, he's finally going to be on the hot seat. Who do you think I'm going to say?
It's not going to be your rival.
Which one? I want you to really think. I want you to keep wagging your finger. For those tuning in on Spotify and everything, he's wagging his finger because he doesn't think. Who do you think I'm talking about?
It's not Mike Tomlin.
It's not. It's John Harbaugh.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's John Harbaugh. And a lot of people are going to say,
I'll give you that.
Say why.
Have you seen them?
Yes.
Do you watch football?
Even when Lamar was healthy, this Baltimore Ravens team.
Let's take his fumbles out of the equation. It's looked bad.
This Ravens team has looked bad. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They have been bad. They played bad. And honestly, what's
Derrick
funny
Henry's
to me,
fumbles, by the way.
What's that?
I said Derrick Henry's fumble problems this year, by the way.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's problems have been, another prevalent issue. I think to me the biggest one, as far as the indicator of the struggles of this team, were when we literally went to see them play the Chiefs on essentially primetime. It wasn't primetime, but it was basically primetime. And the Chiefs dog walked them. And we look at that and you're saying to yourself, all the other times, remember the opening week of last year, it came down to the final play
Mm-hmm.
And this, it was over by the end of the second quarter. Like it was bad. And then, of course, insult to injury, all these guys on the defense, and then Lamar getting hurt. Like they've limped into their bye week right now. And yes, definitely a much needed bye week. It has been atrocious for the Ravens up to this point. 1-5 is arguably, I think, their worst start in franchise history. And we're going back to 1996 here, like that's saying a lot.
Best cheer out there, just so y'all know.
Of course. And John Harbaugh, you may wonder, why is he on the hot seat? Because Baltimore has a generational quarterback, but to me, they are the team that's almost there. They are always the almost there team. You have the Chiefs who've been there. You have the Bills that are right there. And then you have the Ravens that are almost. It's never the Ravens and the Chiefs in the NFC title game. It's never the Ravens and the Bills. It's always the Bills and the Chiefs these past few years. The Ravens have been booted out. Or you have the Bengals even get past the Ravens. Like, there is the Baltimore Ravens, and I know why you thought I was going to say Tomlin. I really do. But the thing of it is, right now, the Steelers are in first place in the division by a lot.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Like, I'm sorry, unless they have a historic collapse, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the AFC North.
All hail Aaron Rodgers.
I don't, and
the only thing the Steelers need is to get another receiver.
And they're in the market for one. They're going to look to trade for one. And the Steelers, to their credit, I mean, look, the defense is still as stellar as ever. But that's what they're predicated on. The Ravens, on the other hand, who've always been known for having tough defenses and an electric offense, haven't done anything. It's been atrocious. It's been kind of, and this is the thing. The only reason they beat Cleveland was because, well, quite frankly, Cleveland's offense was so bad, they gave them short field position a lot. So Baltimore didn't have to drive downfield much because guess what? Derrick Henry only had 23 rushing yards against Cleveland. This was the first time since week 1, this past week against the Rams, where where Derrick Henry had over 100 rushing yards.
That's crazy.
And you know what's crazy about it all? They still only scored about, I think, 12 points. I'm trying to see if I can remember the final score of that game. It was not even 12. So Derrick Henry rushed for 122 yards. They lost 17-3. Normally, if your running back runs for 122 yards, you're going to blow them out of the water.
Then again, all the top running backs from last year are not doing the best this year, Tony.
I mean, Bijan and Jonathan Taylor are definitely the best two right now.
They were not the three. They were not any of the top 3 running backs last year. Just saying.
I mean, McCaffrey's still doing great.
He was not a top 3 running back last year.
I think Saquon. You think Saquon's having?
He just took a little step back. That's what I'm saying.
I'm guessing Jahmyr Gibbs you're putting up there.
The top 3 are the ones that you had new teams last year. Henry, Jacobs, and Saquon. Those are your top 3 running backs last year statistically.
Just off yardage or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Touchdowns and everything like that. The whole package.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and Josh Jacobs has definitely been the underrated. I think he's had a good year. I really think Josh Jacobs has had a good year.
But everyone else has had better years.
That's the problem, though. Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, who came out of nowhere. We did not expect that. Even J.K. Dobbins is having a solid enough year. But anyway, I think John Harbaugh might finally have to be, and it's funny because in 2025 we never thought that John Harbaugh would be the one on the hot seat, but this is my thing. Like, he's got a 613 win percentage, in his career. And my thing is, maybe Lamar Jackson returning after this bye week can save their season. Maybe.
You got the potential.
Like, there's a good chance. But you also have a shelf life. Just like with players, you have shelf lives. Mm-hmm. Maybe John Harbaugh's shelf life has come as a coach. I mean, 15 years is a long time,
Mm-hmm.
So now the next coach I have segues into my favorite segment of the show. And it comes at the perfect time at the halfway point here of episode 148 of Roundabout Sports. I'm the maestro Jerry Carp alongside my friend New Henson. And it is now time for this week's rendition of, can't wait to get a drum roll or something in the future. But just how bad do the New York Jets suck? Man, oh man. I am going to file a petition with the NFL, Andrew, to never have the Denver Broncos play the New York Jets again. Because every time the Jets and Broncos play, the games are absolute ass. Denver got 9 sacks. And Bo Nix, look, Denver did terrible too. Let's not act like Denver's offense did amazing. No. Bo Nix went 19 of 30 for 174 yards. And meanwhile, what's funny is this is where Aaron Glenn's seat might be one of the hottest. The Jets are 0-6. They're still the only winless team in the league, mind you. Yep. Despite a terrible offensive drive, the Jets still had a chance to win the game. But Fields was sacked on 4th and 8 at the Denver 44. Now, Coach Aaron Glenn decided to go for it instead of kicking a field goal or going for a field goal. It would have been a long attempt, but Nick Folk has been in the league 15 plus years. He also went 3 for 3 that day. And I want to say this. So, the Jets as a whole completed 9 of 17 passes for just 45 yards. If you take in the sacks, they went with minus 10 net yards passing. The fewest in any NFL game since the Chargers had minus 19 against the Chiefs in the third career start of Ryan Leaf.
That's trash.
So this is the third time the Jets are winless at 0-6 after 2020 and 1996. So I look at where the Jets are, and Aaron Glenn has to be on the hot seat. I'm sorry. He is just – the whole Jets team is a mess. Garrett Wilson's out for at least 2 weeks with a hyperextended knee. Excuse me. And there's a lot of questions regarding the team's performance. There's heavy fire that he is under right now. And what's funny is because Woody Johnson is a very impulsive owner. He loves to interfere. You know, another owner who loves to interfere in the daily activities of an organization?
Someone who needs to get out of the front office, out of ownership. Don't get me started.
Yes. Jerry Jones. Prime example of somebody who loves to interfere and meddle. And look, once again, Garrett Wilson, their star wide receiver, openly questioned a lot of the decisions that Aaron Glenn made. When your players, you talk about Dontavion Wicks retweeting something, when you're publicly at press conferences questioning the play calling, there's a problem here.
Yep.
And the Jets
speaking of the Cowboys, do you think they try and make a trade for Breece Hall?
I don't think they do because Javonte Williams has been killing it. I would say if Javonte Williams was doing terrible, they would. But Breece Hall, I think, would be a perfect trade target for them. Not for the Cowboys, but for the Jets. I mean, like to trade.
I think Alvin Kamara will end up in Kansas City.
Lord. Here's my thing with that. We're going to talk trade stuff. Wasn't Isaiah Pacheco supposed to be this great running back that everyone was hyped up on and, supposed to be a top 10 back in the league, going to be the complement to Patrick Mahomes when he doesn't have to throw? We can trust good old Isaiah. No, we can't really. Pacheco's having a terrible year. We talked about this last week. When you're leading rushing quarterback, there's a big problem on your hands.
Yeah.
And we got through this week, and what happened? The Chiefs and the Lions, played on Sunday night, and the Chiefs had a big win. But I mean, once again, it was really the Patrick Mahomes show. From the air and on the ground. So, yeah, it drives me. It drives me nuts. But no, back to the whole thing with the hot seat. I look at Aaron Glenn. I think right now, Mike McDaniel might be with Callahan fired, either Mike McDaniel or Aaron Glenn are on the hottest spot right now. Then Kevin Stefanski, and then John Harbaugh. You know what's funny? We haven't even said an NFC team that has – well, you said Matt LaFleur, but I don't think he's necessarily on the hot seat.
No.
Because let's really think about it.
I just think he's on a hotter seat than people think.
Which is true. Which is very true. But look at this. I think Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo just saved Brian Daboll's job.
No, they sure did. But then again, the way he went into that tent, boy.
He ran in that tent. He went right in that tent, said, I don't care what's going on with our quarterback. Get him in there because I can't stand Russ anymore. He
said, I just wanted to make sure he was okay. Tell another story for everyone else to hear. Boy, that pass from Russ.
He was okay.
Listen, I ain't never seen a head coach while you're playing defense. Your mic is like this. You're up here yelling at everybody and your headset's off. You don't know what play's being called. You're like, you got it. Come on now. Don't play with me. Brian Daboll, you know good heck and well you was trying to tell a whole story for the world to hear. We all know it.
Oh, yeah. No, we all know what was trying to go on. And it was most definitely that that he was trying to get Dart in there as fast as possible, no matter what it took. So, yeah, it was. But I think the Jackson and Cam show, and if, God forbid, I wish Malik didn't tear his ACL, such a young, talented receiver. And imagine the offense with Jackson Dart throwing to Malik Neighbors. That trio right there is going to keep Brian's job for a few years. And look, credit to this team, this Giants team. They got a hell of a defense.
That front four. Woo! That front four.
That front four is one of the most lethal front fours. They got a very good defense. They got a young offense that's really starting to come together. And you see how much fun they had beating on Philadelphia.
Scatterbo.
3 tutties that night.
Before the draft, did I not tell you he was my sleeper pick? I told everybody he was going to be a star in this league. I told everybody. I don't know how he fell to the 4th round. Size, play style, I don't care. I do not care.
Yeah, he fell down to the 4th because of his size, but guess what? Somebody had to take a chance on him, and they did. And look, what did we say when Tracy got injured? We said when he comes back, he ain't coming back as a starter.
I mean, I say that now.
I've said it since the beginning, since Tracy first got hurt, because Cam was showing out then. I knew he wasn't going to, because this was the opening that they needed, that the Giants needed to get Cam in there, get him ready. Because guess what? He's the new lead back now in New York.
Oh, yeah, it's his team.
This is his.
It's
like
Jackson's team.
It is the Jackson and Cam show, or the Cam and Jackson show, whatever you want to say. The Cam and Dart, make whatever nickname you want. Said? What?
What's up, Big Blue? 44-6 in the trap.
He is a straight goon, and it cracks me up. Like, and his bruising running style, for a nostalgia football fan, it is a breath of fresh air to see him just bulldoze.
As someone who's played football, though, I'm like,
as somebody who's played football, though, I look at some of these hits and I say, damn.
Slow down, son. You're young. You're younger than I am.
My thing is, I was going to say it's a mixed bag. But you know what? You know who used to say that to for the first few years of his career? Josh Allen. Did we not?
We did.
We saw Josh Allen going full speed ahead at defenders, linemen, linebackers, didn't matter. And I'm like, dang, he's got to throw the ball too. Calm down. But now look at him. He's an MVP. Like,
even if he, shouldn't have won it. Don't at me.
You're right. It should have been it should have been a running back, but that's beside the point. It should have been Saquon.
It should not have been, but it's okay. We all know who should have won.
It is, but it's okay. Lamar has his little shine at one time.
The MVP last year was Lamar. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
No. So I look at let's really think for ourselves for a second about if there's any coach you think in the NFC right now who could legitimately be on the hot seat. Only one that I could maybe think of. It's a little crazy to think about, but it could be Kyle Shanahan.
Nah. I can see where you're coming from, but the only reason I don't see it is because the amount of injuries. I can't see it.
I'm not even talking about because of this year. I'm talking about because of last year. You went from being on the verge of your first Super Bowl win in 20 years to right there. You lose, and then the next year you don't even sniff the postseason. And now, like you said, because injuries are taking their toll, they're Christian McCaffrey's only can do so much. The mind-boggling stat that got me was, I don't know if you heard it, Juwan Jennings' post-game press conference. This guy is playing through 5 broken ribs and I think an ankle sprain.
Jeez.
And Jennings himself said that. He admitted that. And I'm thinking, look, I love the game, but if I got 5 broken ribs, and you and I both know ribs need to heal on their own. There ain't no magic miracle or procedure that'll save it. Ribs just got to heal on their own. And breathing sucks. So,
if I had to pick anyone, I had to think about it. Do you think Jonathan Gannon
for the Cardinals?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think the conversation could. At first, I wouldn't think so. Maybe the first couple weeks. Then you had the embarrassing loss to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the even more embarrassing loss to Tennessee.
See what I'm saying?
Those two losses alone put you in at least the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
I don't know how hot your seat would be if you're Gannon.
Yeah,
but
it's really hard to pick anybody.
I think the NFC is pretty well. It's funny because it's pretty well stable in the
in terms of coaching.
Go. So and of course now Mike McDaniels from a lot of people is the number one coach on the hot seat on a lot of rankings.
Yeah, he should be.
Followed by, and a lot of people still have Brian Daboll on there. But I think it's because, look, yes, they had one big win against the Eagles, but they want to see a bigger sample size. See how this goes. I get it. Stefanski's number 2. And look, Jonathan Gannon's number 4 on Fox Sports. So
crazy. I'm not surprised, though.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you this. We talk about the Titans loss. I don't think the loss is the thing that puts him on the hot seat as opposed to what he did during that game.
That part.
When he put his hands on DeMarcado and everything and all of that confrontations.
That part.
And became very hot-headed.
That's what made
that right there. And this is the funny thing. The Cardinals fined him $100,000. And I guarantee they nudged him to publicly apologize. Mm-hmm. So what happens? They go back out this past Sunday, face the Colts, blow a fourth-quarter lead, and they've lost 4 straight now. So not only have you lost 4 straight, but you're not in the good graces of your bosses and probably not in your team. So Jonathan Gannon very well might be the hottest, the coach on the hot seat in the NFC. If you want another one, maybe Dave Canales of the Panthers.
I think he's done enough to turn it around. No, that's what I'm saying. I think he's done just enough.
Rico has done enough to turn it around. They've won 3 out of their last 4.
Okay.
Chuba Hubbard's coming back this week. And he already said, hey, Rico's earned his playing time, which, look, we're not going to argue that. If you saw what Rico's done the past 2 weeks, you wouldn't disagree one bit with that sentiment. He bulldozed through the Cowboys last week. But the Panthers still have a big problem. They can't throw the ball.
Facts.
And the quarterback, you know how you said a great quarterback can offset bad coaching?
Mm-hmm.
A bad quarterback can doom a good coach.
That's facts.
And I think Bryce Young's inability to truly be the quarterback they need him to be. Oh, and look, as you show a good old Bryce Young card right there,
mm-hmm.
will be Dave Canales' downfall. Just like, I'm going to say this. I'll go on record saying it. What?
I know where you're going with it. Come on. Let me hear it. I know where we're going.
I have my glasses on this. The successes and or failures of Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are going to be the difference maker for Kevin Stefanski's job. How he handles this situation, because guess what? Kenny Pickett's gone. You've already traded him. Then your veteran leader, Joe Flacco, you traded. Your most experienced quarterback is Bailey Zappi on the practice squad. So right now, what do you got?
Man, I got so much I could say about it. I'm not going to say it, though. I'm going to let you finish. That's your team.
Well, no, and I mean it though. Like, I do feel that if neither Shador or Dylan Gabriel succeed in Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski will get fired.
He won't make it that far.
But he might not. That's another thing. He might not even make it far enough to see them develop. Where they would go from there, I don't know. Would Andrew Berry go with them? I don't know. There's so many questions to it. But the thing of it is, Dylan Gabriel threw 52 times last week against Pittsburgh. You got a Rookie of the Year candidate in Quinshon Judkins, and you're telling me you're going to throw 52 times with Dylan Gabriel to receivers who are tied for the league lead in drops, who have the most drops on 3rd and 4th down this season, and who run the 3rd slowest routes off the snap in the league. But by all means, throw it 52 times against the Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. He got sacked 6 times, man. Like, no, sometimes you just got to run the ball down their damn throats and just keep running it, and eventually it works. Because guess what? I want to say this before I pass it to you on this. Think of the offensive linemen for a second. You got 5 offensive linemen who have to block 52 times on passing downs.
If you know what the number 22 means, let me know.
Huh?
If you tell me what the number 22 means, I'm waiting.
The number 22. I guess it's the what is it? The seams in the line? I don't know. The gaps.
That's the amount of starting quarterbacks Joel Bitonio has had to block for. Give the man a break. Y'all have killed Joe Thomas. Y'all are killing Joel Bitonio. Save these men. They work hard. Give them something.
Damn, 22.
I'm going to start a petition to trade star linemen out of Cleveland. They're wasting their careers.
You know what? And that's the thing. People are going to complain about the linemen, but guess what? You got one future Hall of Famer on that line right now. In Joel Bitonio. You got multiple All-Pro offensive linemen in there, in Wyatt Teller and Jack Conklin and Ethan Pochik. Like, and once again, I think, you know what, Andrew? This is my thing. It comes down to Barry not having draft picks. He could have drafted offensive linemen that could have helped.
It's true.
But these guys are in their 30s. And they're having to block 52 times a game. Nobody will never understand that football grind right there. And oh my gosh. My dad says, he's tuning in from Denver. He says, number 22 was a high school basketball player. Yes, number 22. There was I must share this story to put context in this. I was doing stat managing and assistant stuff for the freshman men's basketball team at France South Central in high school. Forget the school we played, but it was at Central, and it was this guy, number 22. Dude looked like a ringer. He didn't look like he was a freshman in high school. I'm telling you right now. And there was one shot that I distinctly remember as the third quarter came to a close. And this dude straight up hit a 3-pointer nearly half court. And he flexed his muscles like he was hulking up. I mean, he was hyped. Dad was there at that game. He remembers that. And oh my gosh, that was bad. But so that's where his number 22 comes from. But all of this aside, I genuinely think you talk about quarterbacks that can make or break coaches. Let's really think about some of these that we've discussed this evening.
But before we go, I got something to say about Cleveland and why I believe Dylan Gabriel threw the ball so many times.
Oh, boy.
Coming into the season, it does not feel like Kevin Stefanski likes Shador Sanders. Look, I'm just on the outside looking in. You've seen it in press conferences. You've seen the body language from both parties. it don't look like they like each other, or one don't like the other. You tell me if I'm wrong.
I think I don't know if it's a personal thing. I don't think he likes the attention.
Okay, and that's not Shedor's fault either. And that's not necessarily Shedor's fault.
But he can't tell the media, hey, stop talking about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, but coming into the game, who is a better passer of the ball, Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? There's an easy answer.
It's Shedeur.
Okay, you tell me what I feel he was trying to prove. That's just where my mind has went.
I get it. No,
while I was watching the game, that's what I thought.
But here's the thing. I half agree and I half disagree. Because I'm going to tell you something. I half agree because Shedeur Sanders is still not the starting quarterback.
No, of course not. Because he's trying to prove that he doesn't need to be.
I disagree, though, because say Dillon, I prayed, I'm glad it didn't happen, and I don't want it to happen, but say Dillon Gabriel got injured. Shedeur's quarterback number 2. He's got to go in. If Kevin Stefanski really didn't want him to play, he would not have traded Joe Flacco.
That's true.
That's my thing. He would have kept Flacco no matter what. But
yeah,
I think I don't know if he's testing him or what. Whatever the case may be, I do not agree at all with that game plan alone of throwing 52 times with a rookie making his 3rd career start. You have no damn reason to actually wait a minute. Or was that might have been a 2nd career start?
Number 2, I believe.
Yeah, that was number 2. Damn. Yeah, because the Vikings and then it was his 3rd career game, but his 2nd career start.
Especially for someone who's not a dominant passing quarterback.
No. And honestly, the worst to me is he had 4 passes that went over 10 air yards, which, I mean, when you throw 52 passes and only 4 can go air that high, that's terrible. And I'm not one to try to make the short joke, but if the man can't see over his lineman, there's a problem here. At least the Shedeur Sanders couldn't see his lineman. He has the mobility to run and scramble outside. Dillon Gabriel doesn't even have that.
He has more mobility than Shedeur does. Yes, he does. He is way more mobile than Shedeur Sanders.
Mobility is more than just speed, though.
I know.
So that's also what I'm kind of taking into account. But also, there's a lot of factors. One way or another, you should never have to throw 52 times in the game.
No.
But
not unless you're feeling
it. But here's my thing. I do want to say this about Mike McDaniel because he's the one that everyone says is now the newest number 1. Like this right now, this team is ranked 26 offensively in the league. Tua has called out some of his teammates on this past Sunday for being late to meetings. His teammates called Tua back out because they didn't like being called out. McDaniel called out Tua on Monday for airing out dirty grievances and dirty laundry publicly. And honestly, there's nothing worse than being a bad team is one thing. Being a bad team with bad morale is worse.
Facts.
There are a lot of bad teams out there that still, and I think the Saints are a good example. The Saints suck, but at least they are still working their tails off. They're still in this thing where, hey, we love what we do. We love the team we're on and we're playing with. Like, there's great camaraderie. Miami, it's like they're all at each other's throats. And Stephen Ross, the owner, is not going to take that for much longer at this rate.
Especially in Miami.
No. And I look at the Miami Dolphins schedule. Like we've said, they play Cleveland this week. After that, they go to one of the hottest offenses in the league in the Atlanta Falcons. Then they play hopefully by then, a healthier Baltimore Ravens team. They play the Buffalo Bills,
Oh, gosh.
the Commanders.
Well, the Commanders are another team that are rocky.
Then you got so you got those 4 games right there. So you got the Browns, Falcons, Ravens, Bills, and Commanders. What you did, I don't know if McDaniel, if they lose all 5 of those, McDaniel's gone before November 30th when they play the Saints, which once again is another interesting.
That's going to be tough.
Ooh, before we wrap it up though this evening, I have one more potential coach. I just thought of this. This is interesting. We have talked about a couple NFC guys, mainly AFC guys, and this is one more AFC guy that I have.
Could be an NFC guy, eh?
It really can't, because the NFC does seem to have a lot of good stability. Ben Johnson's doing good in Chicago.
Much as I hate to admit it. Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, I'm sorry. They can go for it on 4th down 500 times in a row. Dan Campbell is not getting fired anytime soon.
Not at all.
I still maintain he's going to be the reason they don't win a Super Bowl. But
I do think the tush push will be banned by next year. I think last week solidified
before the end of this year.
After what happened last week?
Yeah, when the Eagles ran 4 straight tush pushes.
I was so mad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't mind going for it on 4th and short. I don't care. But to do
either switch it up or do something. But anyway, DeMeco Ryans.
You think so?
Well, I really want you to think about where the Houston Texans
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're right.
The Texans coming in, supposed to be this really, they were supposed to be the ones contending for the division. You think that everybody in their right mind thought Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, and the Indianapolis Colts would be 5-1 while the Texans were 2-3?
Do you think it's more on DeMeco Ryans or on their quarterback CJ Stroud?
I want the honest truth. I think it's just a lack of talent. I think offensively, the lack of talent due to injuries is really showing.
Yeah.
Dell is out. Joe Mixon's out. And me, of all people, are a huge Nick Chubb fan. But he's not the same.
He is not.
He's not the same by any stretch. CJ Stroud's Nico Collins has been the only real healthy, reliable wide receiver this year. You've had Christian Kirk. You've had Jaden Higgins, but none of them have shined or really done anything to stand out. The Texans' offense is just so, I'm going to say it, and it's probably one of the worst things they can be, but it's true. Boring. Mm-hmm. There's no flash, no substance of this Texans offense. The only reason – what?
We'll trade you. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, tell me why I would have said I would trade you Romeo Doubs for Stingley.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know what's really crazy to think about is the Houston Texans have allowed the fewest points in the league.
Yeah, I wonder why.
No. Yeah. Well, here, really want you to think about this. So, right now, the Texans have allowed 61 points this year.
Nice.
Okay. 5 games in, 61 points. They had their bye week last week, but still. The next closest team they've allowed 97.
Jesus.
I know there's a bye week in there. I get it. A lot of teams had a bye week, but that's still kind of crazy. Because that's still 5 games where you only allowed. Let's really do the math.
So if we're going to go with the same standard, it's only 72 points.
They're allowing 12 points a game, basically.
Mm-hmm. So I said 72.
But they're 2-3. So what does that tell you?
They're not scoring either.
Nope. They've only scored 102 points, I believe. They have not scored much. They're not allowing points. The only game they scored a lot of points in was the Ravens game, and that's where they got most of their points in.
Oh,
like they beat the Ravens 44-10, but then they only scored 10 on the Jaguars, only scored 19 on the Bucks. They dropped 26 on Tennessee and pitched a shutout. And then against the Rams, they only scored 14. Or they only scored 9. I'm sorry. The Rams scored 14. So it's just not been a good week. But with all that said, folks, Andrew, you got any final thoughts in regards to the head coaching carousel?
No, I got some basketball thoughts real fast, though.
Yeah, before we wrap up, give me your basketball thoughts that you got.
Shout out to Russell Westbrook going to Sacramento. Yes, sir. Big Russ. Average triple-double this year? No, I'm probably not.
Well, here's my thing.
They also signed Keegan Murray to a new deal. Shout out to the Kings making moves today.
Well, here's the thing with that. Is Russell Wilson – this is not Russell Wilson. Russell Westbrook's 7th team in 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a reflection on him or on the teams he's been on?
It's a reflection on how he's viewed now. He's like a below fringe. I wouldn't even call him a superstar anymore, but he's still capable of winning games.
Okay.
But it's his play style has to work with what you're trying to do. He should have stayed in Denver, if you want my personal opinion.
That would have been fun to see.
I think he's the perfect fit for Denver.
I definitely I get you on that. He would have been a really good fit for the Nuggets. But yeah, this is the 36. He'll be 37 in just a few weeks. Mm-hmm. This will be his seventh team in 7 years, which is just crazy to think about. But he is still, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest point guards in history. I mean, he's a former MVP. What do you expect? But here's the thing. He's still missing one thing. Still missing that ring. I don't think he can get it on the Kings, man.
He ain't getting it there.
He ain't getting it on the Kings. So,
but that's all I had. I just want to give a big shout out to Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying?
All good, man.
Folks,
we're going to wrap it up here. And before we start doing our normal close, I want to talk about one of our proud sponsors here at Interstate 70 Sports Media. That being, of course, Harsh Construction LLC. Harsh Construction LLC, based in Illinois, with over 50 combined years experience in all home renovating and landscaping outdoor work needs. And be sure to give them a call for a free quote today at 618-363-9818. That is 618-363-9818. That is Harsh Construction LLC, proud sponsor of Interstate 70 Sports Media and Roundabout Sports. And, of course, once again, you can find Roundabout Sports on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, and all other streaming platforms. We do air live, unless otherwise stated, at 6:30 p.m. Central Time every week, every Wednesday night, folks. So at 6:30 p.m. every Wednesday night, be sure to tune in live. You'll find us live on either my official X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, which is at JCarpSportsFan1. You can find it on the official Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel, and you can find Roundabout Sports all over Facebook as well. So be sure to like and subscribe. Of course, we end the show by putting up the NAMI helpline. That is 1-800-950-NAMI, 1-800-950-NAMI. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for those who struggle with mental health issues. And of course, as always, we put up the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at the end of every episode. And for that, you dial 988. The line is open 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Understand you're never alone in this world. There is always somebody out there who loves you, who cares about you, who wants nothing but the best for you. And we all go through struggles and trials and tribulations every day, but they don't have to be faced alone. You're just a phone call, a text message, an appointment away from what could be that life-saving moment for you. And you can also be the listening ears and watchful eyes for somebody else in need as well. I want to thank my friend Andrew Henson, as always, for joining me. And tune in next Wednesday night for episode 149. We are almost at the big 150, folks, for episode 149 of Roundabout Sports. Until then, I'm the maestro, Jeremy Karp. And remember, life is a book full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading. Good night, everybody.